Hey guys, another cold, wet Sunday, but got something that came in. It's the air fuel, the wideband O2 sensor kit. So gauge and all the wiring, O2 sensor. So today I'm going to mark the pipes as to where I need to drill the hole to weld the bungs in. The kit does come with a single bung, a regular steel bung. It's the step type that slides into the hole that you drill, but I picked up these. These are cut for 1 3/4, 1.5 to 1 3/4 pipes. So that'll be a better fit, a lot less to fill in. I'll get the pipes marked, get them drilled and set up, and I'll bring them to a friend of mine. He'll TIG weld them on here. Guy does beautiful work. I need to learn how to weld. So anyways, this wideband gauge, different from the narrow band that comes on the bobber. The bobber uses the narrow band gauges are right up there by the header. They're heated up by the exhaust gas right out there. That's why they're really close. This wideband it's got a heating element, so you can't mount them up there. And AEM says, I think was it 18 to 34 or 36 inches away from the exhaust outlet. So where I'll be mounting them is right down. I figured out they're going to be right down over here, and so basically this will fit. It'll be on the inside, and you can't have them. You'd have to be at least facing up at least 10 degrees, if not more. So anywhere from 10 degrees above horizontal to full vertical is good. That way it keeps any condensation moisture from killing the gauges. So I'll go ahead and get this marked up where I want the gauge and the angle, and then we'll start moving the pipes. Okay, I've got both my pipes marked. Before I loosen anything, I want to see the orientation of my crossover pipe. The screws on there, they're different due to clearance issues. So left side is facing down and the right side is facing forward. So I'll get those loosened up and then I'll start popping the other pipes off. Okay, I've got the Allens on the H pipe loosened up, so now I've got a 5 mil Allen over here for the back part of the header. So pop that and I'll go ahead and take that off. My H pipes were an 8 mil socket. When I flashed the bike, I'd already disconnected the O2 sensors, and I just zip tied them up here to the frame. So we'll go ahead and cut these zip ties loose. And with those loose, the nuts for your clamps for your header are 12 mil. Go ahead and take those out all the way. Tension's out of them. I can just spin them out. Right, with the nuts off, just kind of wiggle them out and undo the two halves. They work together as a clamshell. That's all there is to it. So now, just wiggle the pipe, that way it disconnects from the H pipe. I'm going to take these O2 sensors off, and I do have plugs for them. Also, one thing I like to do so I don't lose anything is just kind of put everything back just be sitting here until I get things welded up. Put your acorn nuts back on. They don't get lost. And these don't get lost. If you're doing this yourself, might be a good idea to video what you're doing, so you remember how everything was when you were taking it apart, in case you don't remember. That just started in there. There we go. So those are all back together. And we'll go ahead and pull this H pipe out before I pull the other side. So I'll just set this aside and keep it in the same orientation it was. Actually, I'm just going to leave this under the bike and in its orientation that it was. That way I don't forget. All we gotta do is do the same on the other side. For your narrow band O2s, these are, all you need is a 17 mil wrench on them. Break them loose. I will put these aside in a bag and mark them because I have O2s also set aside for a 2018 R1M. I did get some O2 plugs, and for your narrow band ones on these Triumphs, they are 12 millimeter in size. So if you are plugging it, that's the size O2s. The wideband O2 sensor that I've got from AEM, most widebands there are 18 mil. And threads are 18 by 1.5. I forget what the threads are these, but they're the 12 mil bungs. Block off, so I use some of that copper anti-seize and get that nice and snug. Those will be sealed up, don't want any leaks. All right, so put this away and I'll start on the other one. Okay, here's the fun part. I've got the pipe marked and I've got this marked. So to get my marks back together and put a mark right on the center, a dot right on the center where I want it. Marks are over there. Those line up. And put a mark in the center. Then I'll center punch that and drill that. Okay, to drill that hole, you're going to use a step bit. These ain't cheap, but I'll drill a center hole first, pilot hole, and then I'll switch to this here. Should be an 18 millimeter hole, about 3/4 inches. Okay guys, I got them both drilled out. The first side was easier. The second side took a bit longer because temper on this one, or it just, that expensive bit, it kind of, even with cutting oil, it kind of dulled it out already by the second one. So getting the hole just big enough for that 18 mil, the plug that goes into, to plug off your sensor bung, just goes in there to fit. That way you've got plenty of metal around there for that to get welded on. So, yep, that's that for getting these pipes prepped. I just need to file the edges, smooth all that out, inside and outside. Use round file on the inside and then flat file, get the outside done, and then get them over my buddy's when he's got some time on the weekend, and we'll get these welded up. Okay, and the next bit was getting a temporary way to mount the air fuel gauge for the wideband on the bike. So had a ram mount with a short arm, and then That's one of those mounts to clamp onto a roll cage. For a 2-inch roll cage, I had, these are what, 52 millimeter in the back for the narrow mounting part, or 2 1/16. So I just had to Dremel the inside diameter a bit of that 2-inch mount to make it work. So that'll work temporarily, and then I'll just have to run the wires. I'll run the wire for the O2 once I get those pipes mounted back on with the O2. And then for the power source, I don't want to tap in my wiring to run on the ignition switch. I don't want to tap into the bike wiring at all. So I've got extra battery tender plugs, so I'll cut one of those up and just hook that to the wiring, and when I'm ready to go test, I'll just plug it into my battery tender for battery power. That'll power it up and heat up the wideband sensor. So that's where we're at now. Coming along.